Can Republicans win the New Hampshire governorship next year? What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video. And today, it is time that we take our first look at the 2024 New Hampshire governor election. Because everyone, for the first time in many years, it seems like we're going to have a really competitive governorship election in the great state of New Hampshire. As Chris Sununu announced, he isn't running for another term. He's retiring, and good riddance to him. I mean, the guy has been a complete bozo since 2020. And it's been very sad to see him fall from his once very likable personality to whatever he is now. But it's time we look at, can Republicans actually win without Sununu? Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody, let's get into it. Now, again, we're very early in the cycle and we don't really know, the dynamics of next year just yet, but we do know a couple candidates are getting in. And the major one is from former U.S. Senator Kelly Ayotte, who launched her campaign for governor of the Granite State in front of a packed house at the Goat Bar and Grill in Manchester, New Hampshire, Monday night. That's a good name, Goat Bar and Grill. That's also probably a fun place to announce your governorship candidacy. And she made it clear she isn't backing down from her one election from Massachusetts message. In her first campaign speech, Ayotte doubled down on messaging that had already drawn the ire of Massachusetts liberals, again warning attendees. You probably heard this in my announcement, but I'm going to say it again. I fear we are one election away from becoming Massachusetts, from becoming something that we are not. We are different as a state. I gotta say, I actually like this messaging. Is it a bit of fear-mongering? Yeah. But guys, is she really wrong? I mean, Massachusetts liberals have been flooding the state for years at this point. And we're clearly seeing it. It once was a purple state, to now it's leaning Democrat. And outside the governorship and maybe the state legislature, it's not looking likely Republicans can win the state, if at all, down the line. Now, she told the crowd, you may have noticed over the last week, when I said I didn't want New Hampshire to become Massachusetts, that I got a little reaction from the liberal politicians and press in Massachusetts. They didn't appreciate that. They were pretty offended. She continued, well, that's what I want them to know. I'm never going to apologize for our great state and how awesome we are, number one. And number two, I want you to know that I will never back down when it comes to fighting for the people of New Hampshire, she said. This is, considering the fact that I wouldn't call her the most, conservative person in the world, I'm surprised that this is actually a pretty good message to say, look, we can't allow our state to become Massachusetts. That's what's happening. Her overall message was positive, in talking about her love for the state and her admiration for outgoing Governor Sununu. Again, I'm not a fan of Sununu anymore, but I can understand. He still is, relatively speaking, well-liked in the state. If I look at where we are as a state, Sununu has done a great job. I wouldn't say that, but I understand she has to make sure, people don't get mad at her for being anti-Sununu like the idiot was last year. He's done a great job as governor, but we understand that after he finishes being governor, it is so important that the battle for our state and for who we are continue. With Sununu out and the Republican nomination up for grabs, in addition to Ayet, former State Senate President Morse, who most recently ran for the 2022 nomination for the U.S. Senate, is already in the race. Education Commissioner Frank Adelblut is expected to jump in as well. Despite the backlash, Bob Batchelor of Litchfield said he thinks Ayet should continue her anti-Massachusetts messaging. The whole thing of preserving what's unique about New Hampshire is very important, he told the New Hampshire Journal. I don't want to let them turn New Hampshire into Massachusetts. I like that theme. I do too. Because, let's be real, New Hampshire is unlike most other states. It's always been very libertarian. Super duper limited government. Don't bother us. We're just up here chilling. We don't care. But you've been seeing more and more of these social progressives move into the state. And they have affected the state greatly. Again, it's still libertarian, but it's turning more into a left-leaning libertarian state. The former senator also focused on several issues that will be key to her campaign, as well as priorities for her administration if elected. In her short speech before mingling with the crowd, she hit on supporting law enforcement, combating the influx of fentanyl in the state, and treating addiction, which is a major problem. Surprisingly, it's a big problem in the state. You wouldn't think so, but it is. Strengthening the New Hampshire economic advantage, reducing energy costs, blocking new taxes, and ushering in parental rights and universal school choice. Again, very generic stuff, but this is New Hampshire we're talking about. I believe that parents make the best decisions for their kids, Ayet declared. I am a strong believer in education freedom, and the reason for that is that every child learns differently, and parents know what is best for their children. And we want to give every child in this state the opportunity to go to school or the educational setting that is best for them. That is actually perfect. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of Ayet. I think she is... she's good for New Hampshire standards, but it's I've never been a big fan of her, but this is actually some pretty good messaging. Because it's an issue that outside of Youngkin, maybe Zeldin, they have botched, the GOP. Explain why. What do you mean by school choice? Well, the parents, they make the best decisions for their children. And every child learns differently. That's all you gotta say. Attendees were excited to see Ayet make a comeback in New Hampshire politics. She last ran for office in 2016 in a re-election bid as an incumbent senator, a race she narrowly lost to Maggie Hassan. I was a big supporter for her when she ran for Senate. Paul Shibboleth of Nashua said, I think she has all the right answers for all the serious problems we've had in New Hampshire. Sununu's done a great job, so we need to keep going down the path of doing great things that Chris has done, and Kelly will make sure that happens. In preliminary polling of the gubernatorial primary, Ayet is the early favorite. According to the poll, she came in at 69% support among likely Republican primary voters in the state. Morse and Adelblut, meanwhile, had 22% and 9% support, respectively. So, it seems like she is the clear frontrunner for the state of New Hampshire next year. But the question is, can she win? Or let's just say Chuck Morse. Could they win? Just say it's one of the two. Honestly, I would say yes. Because the problem with Democrats in, say, the state of New Hampshire is while federally it's moved to the left, locally and down ballot it still is, more libertarian. It's a bit more Republican. Sununu won by ungodly amounts every time. And she is somebody that ran statewide before. She's known. She seems well liked within the GOP. And it seems like she is running a decent message. Now, I do want to know who Democrats do try to run. Are they going to try to run some Vermont-style progressive or something crazy like that? Which I think would end up with the Republicans winning easy. Or are they going to run somebody a bit more centrist or whatever? We just got to see what happens because it's very early to tell, but I think it's actually a good start for the Republicans in the state of New Hampshire. It seems like they got a good bench, unlike other states, and seems like they're running effective campaigns. But it absolutely comes down to, can they just somehow keep up momentum Sununu had when it comes to winning elections or outperforming other Republicans? If they can do that, yeah, obviously they'll win. But we got to see what happens. We will really see what New Hampshire's made of next year. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below. Subscribe. Share with your friends. Hit that little bell. Follow the social media accounts in the description down below. And, of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.